Hi there. In this video, we will discuss the summary of the 11th chapter of Ibong Adarna, titled Don Juan's Prayer, from stanzas 276 to 318. We will also study the important events, characters, settings, and the lessons, messages, or implications found in this chapter. Let's begin. In this chapter, we see Don Juan in a very difficult situation. He is wounded and barely able to move as he crawls through the forest. His condition is terrible. He has bruises and wounds all over his body, and he feels intense hunger and thirst. Despite his physical suffering, he continues to trust in God and the Virgin Mary. In his prayer, Don Juan asks for his sick father to be healed. He pleads for mercy, not just for himself, but especially for his beloved parents. Even on the brink of death, he does not lose hope and entrusts his fate to God. He cannot believe what his two brothers did to him. He says he was willing to give them the Ibong Adarna, and that they did not need to betray him. In his suffering, he remembers his homeland, the palace where he grew up, and the care of his mother, which he deeply longs for. Now, let's move on to the important events in this chapter. Don Juan is wounded and struggling, crawling through the forest and feeling intense hunger and thirst. Despite his severe pain, he continues to trust in God and the Virgin Mary, asking for help and strength. Don Juan prays for his father, King Fernando, who is sick, and asks for mercy not just for himself but especially for his parents. Don Juan expresses his confusion and sadness over what his two brothers did to him, saying he was willing to give them the Ibong Adarna without them needing to betray him. In the midst of his suffering, Don Juan remembers his homeland, his palace, and the care of his mother, which he deeply misses. Important characters. Don Juan, the main character who is suffering in the forest. He is the one praying to God and the Virgin Mary for his family and himself. King Fernando, Don Juan's father, who is on the brink of death and one of the reasons for his prayer. Let us now proceed to the setting of this chapter. The chapter takes place in the forest where Don Juan is alone, wounded, and praying. It is a place full of danger and reflects his sadness and suffering. Here are some of the lessons shown in this chapter. Despite trials and hardships, faith in God and calling on Him gives strength and hope. Love for family, especially for parents, remains important no matter how deep the suffering one endures. And that concludes the 11th chapter of Ibong Adarna, titled Don Juan's Prayer. What did you learn from this lesson? Share your answers in the comments. We also encourage you to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay updated with our future videos. Until next time, thank you for watching.